Have you ever felt your mind is like a browser with 20 tabs open at once? One tab for unfinished work, another for future worries, and dozens more for internal conversations you never chose to join. So you turn to meditation, hoping to close all those tabs. But the harder you try, the more you feel you're failing. Here's a truth few will tell you. The Buddha never taught us to switch off our thoughts. He taught us how to master them. And in the Satipatthana Sutta, 1990, the original map from 2,600 years ago, 1919, he called this the only way to truly return to stillness. Not by running away, but by waking up. If you've ever struggled to quiet your mind, you are not broken. That racing mind, it's not a design flaw. It's what the mind was built to do, to wander, to plan, to remember. For thousands of years this kept us alive, but in our modern world, it's left us feeling like passengers in our own lives. Here is the radical truth the Buddha discovered. The goal is not an empty mind. The goal is a mindful mind. You don't need to stop the waves. You need to learn to surf them. And this is exactly what the Buddha laid out in what he called the direct path, a systematic training manual for the mind, not a philosophy to believe in, but a practice to undertake. 4 foundational stations where we can anchor our awareness again and again. So what are these 4 stations of mindfulness? Let's look at the original design. Mindfulness is simply this: the capacity to know what is happening while it is happening. The problem isn't thinking itself. The problem is living in autopilot mode, where thoughts think us rather than us being aware of thoughts. It's like watching a movie and forgetting you're in the theater. You become the character on screen, feeling their fear, their joy, losing yourself in the story. Many believe mindfulness means having no thoughts. But the Buddha never asked us to empty the mind. He invited us to become the observer of thoughts, the one who watches the movie without getting lost in the plot. The Buddha's original map contains 4 stations of awareness, 4 places where we can anchor our attention. The 4 foundations of mindfulness: the body, your primary control room, awareness of breath, posture, and physical sensations; the dashboard of your car, showing speed, fuel, temperature; the feelings, your internal sensory system, noticing pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral sensations as they arise; the weather station of your inner world, HE, reporting sunny, stormy, or calm conditions; the mind, your real-time display screen, recognizing current mental states, Noma Sove, focused, distracted, peaceful, restless; the computer monitor showing which programs are currently running; the mental content, your advanced control panel, observing the deeper patterns, hindrances, awakening factors, and core truths; the system settings that determine how everything else functions. Let's pause here for a moment. Which of these 4 stations feels most familiar to you, and which feels most foreign? The goal isn't perfection. The goal is to become the aware driver of your life, no longer a passenger dragged along by automatic reactions, but someone who can skillfully navigate any road condition. There was a young monk who complained to his teacher, "My mind is like a wild horse. Every time I try to meditate, it runs away." The old master smiled. "You're trying to tame the horse by building higher fences. I'm teaching you to become the rider who can gently guide any horse, anywhere. Now, let everything settle." So now we see the complete picture. The problem isn't our thoughts, but our unconscious identification with them. We've explored the 4 stations of awareness: AGS, from the physical anchor of the body to the subtle patterns of the mind. The map is clear, but understanding alone isn't enough. True freedom comes through practice. Now, let's step onto this path together and activate the Mastering the Four Stations protocol, turning theory into lived experience. Now, let's move from understanding to doing. This is where we activate the Mastering the Four Stations protocol. We begin with step 1, the anchor. Start with the simplest doorway home, your breath. Not trying to change it, not making it special, just noticing the natural rhythm of inhalation and exhalation. Like when you're driving and suddenly notice your shoulders are tense, your hands gripping the wheel too tightly. And in that moment of noticing, you naturally relax. That's the power of coming back to the body, anchoring to the present. I know I am breathing in. I know I am breathing out. This brings us to step 2, the sensor scan. Now, expand your awareness from the breath to include the entire body. Notice sensations without judgment. AP, warmth, coolness, pressure, tingling. The body is constantly speaking. We're learning to listen. Imagine you're drinking tea and suddenly become aware of the warmth spreading through your hands, the subtle aroma, the weight of the cup. That moment of full sensory presence, that's station 2, settling the body. I am aware of sensations throughout the body. Now, step 3, the mind monitor. Gently shift attention from the body to the mind itself. What's the current weather pattern? Is the mind clear, distracted, peaceful, restless? Simply note, this is the current condition. Like glancing at a weather app and seeing partly cloudy, you don't argue with the weather, you just dress accordingly. When you notice mind is busy, you don't fight it, you adjust your approach. I know the mind is peaceful, distracted, calm, without needing to change it. Now, let's complete the cycle with the Sutta scan. Gently move through all 4 stations in one flowing sequence. Body, feelings, mind, mental content. Like a lighthouse beam scanning the horizon, touching each point with gentle awareness. You don't need to fix anything, you only need to know it is there. Now, bring this practice into your day. When washing dishes, feel the water temperature. Notice the mind's opinion about this task. When waiting in line, feel the feet on ground. Notice the impatience or peace. Remember, you don't need to be perfect at this. The goal isn't to never get distracted. The goal is to notice when you've wandered and gently return. Again and again. Each time you come back to your breath. Each time you notice a sensation without judgment. You're building what I call the mindfulness muscle. You're learning the most important skill, how to come home to yourself. Here's a question to carry with you. In your practice today, did you find yourself observing the breath? Or were you secretly controlling it? That tiny difference contains the entire teaching. If this journey has been helpful for you, I invite you to subscribe and hit the bell. In our next video, we'll explore how to work with difficult emotions using the same 4 stations, returning to stillness,